It seems like sexuality, it's like, since it's the most base force of all, that's what they use to control everyone. And so it's like you're pressured to identify with a term. Like you have to pick a side, and whatever term you identify with, you have to go all in with it, or like there's a percentage of what term you are or whatever. Nothing about my life makes sense when I'm trying to control my sexuality. As if I let it get out of control, so to speak, that it will become corrupted or perverted or whatever, but it won't. It's interesting too, like, even when I looked openly transgender or gay or whatever, I don't think I ever saw someone and ever felt like gay. I felt more of like a desire for friendship or communication or but when there's this pressure to also date or have children or take a side or be something or make my sexual presence or identity known, it's like that's what stunts it the most. And then it really can't be anything. It's like they want me to prove it. They want me to prove and then there's some kind of punishment for if you do play their game, and then they put politics into it. I don't feel that way. I don't have a plan. I could be all things. Also, I think sexual projections are very real, and sometimes when I see a man who looks kind of gay, I get so devastated. Because I think like, okay, there's no chance. It's like he's in a category, a separate category. We can't see eye to eye. We can't communicate. We're going two different directions, blah, blah, blah. When I'm sure many people feel that way about me. But also that's because that's how I feel about myself. Like if I identify with a certain sexuality instead of just be myself and align myself with what I like in the moment, not try to label it or categorize it. When I'm trying to label myself, everything is sexual though. Everything has an undertone of sexuality, and it's not even personal. It's not even like highly charged. It's not a huge deal, but it's the outside, it's the external shit that I've internalized that really distorts me. I think also when I see gay men or trans men, like biological men who are transgender women, and I immediately feel rejected, like that's because I'm rejecting the side of myself that's like them. I'm rejecting the side of myself that's gay. That's a gay man. That's a transgender man who's being a woman, who is kind of like them. And so if I've rejected that side of myself and said it's impossible, or it would make me a freak or something, I automatically feel a sense of rejection from them. Also, this idea that if I have a certain sexual leaning, that I have to also take on a certain lifestyle and rigid routine and make myself easily categorized and located and like take on a fetish niche instead of just let sexuality be whatever it is at whatever time it is with whoever it is. It also occurred to me that they think that people who don't care about rules or don't care about their job or who are sloppy or don't have good manners or whatever, they think that's gay by default, because sexuality is deeply, like, the societies that we live in, jobs, all this shit, capitalism is political by nature. So it's like, if you're not following the political rules of this world to a T, they automatically associate with you being sexually deviant. And then also, I think that people who are encouraging kids to be sexually or socially deviant in a way that's not just natural, like the natural sloppiness of things, like they're encouraging kids to be dropouts and delinquents and shit. They're trying to encourage gayness, but on their terms. Everyone has the capacity to be everything. I think it's just a matter of how many restrictions and shit are around you. And people do all kinds of different sexual things for many different reasons. It's part of a nervous system process. It's part of a mind process. Like, sexuality doesn't exist in a vacuum. Somebody could break up with their partner and then do something gay with someone just so that they can have the emotional spiral of shame, so that they can kind of break down and then build themselves back up to deal with a relationship falling apart. Like, they need to do something that they think has corrupted them so they don't get back with their ex. It's not even necessarily about being gay. I think it's like a side effect. And also, I kind of wonder if I look at sexuality in terms of it being a side effect, also, I think because we went through a phase in history where being gay was like something that was seen as not real, like it's not valid. It's like now there's such a big push that people feel to label their sexuality and to embody a certain label, like gay or transgender or whatever the fuck, and like put a percentage level on. I'm 40% bisexual, and they really do. They do. A lot of my friends in college were definitely not straight, and there's all this questioning about, we would even take tests online. Well, we would take tests online to see what mental illness we had, first of all. But there's tests online about whether you're straight or gay or what your sexuality is. I think since there's so many times in history where being gay would get you killed immediately, and people had to eradicate the fluidity of their sexuality and basically make gayness non-existent for their own survival. I think now that's why there's such a big push to openly identify, like, come out, like there's a revealing process. Like when it comes to sexuality, you have to be trapped in a closet, trapped in a fucking sewer, in the darkness, and then make your reveal and like come out and announce it to the world, and confetti is everywhere, and also people with pitchforks and guns are there too. Like, instead of it just being something that's there and there's no need to hide it or express it. I think we do that shit because it's still happening now. It probably always will be this way. Like, certain sectors of the world where you have to completely try to eliminate and make invisible just sexuality in general, the spectrum of sexuality, and then only be straight. I wonder also if there's such a heavy charge when it comes to anything regarding sexuality. I'm at a stoplight right now, and I feel like my mind just stopped when all of these cars stopped. I feel like it's just going along with my mindset right now, though. Like, I feel like I have to hide what I'm talking about because all these cars stopped and nothing is in flow anymore. And I wonder if this is a synchronistic message. I'm at a stoplight. Traffic is so fucking backed up. And there's this, I think it's a mobile home on a truck, and it's taking up both lanes. And there's a truck that says oversized load. And it's backing everyone up. And now they're going on the highway that goes to the countryside. Think fuck. Come on, you dumb bitch. I also wonder if there's something inherently gender bending about strippers and people who wear pole dancing shoes, because whenever I go online to look at pole dancing shoes, the only fucking websites that have good shoes, like any shoes with personality, they're all, well, most of the shoes that say in the label transvestite, or like when you want to find good stripper boots, you have to type in transgender or transvestite or some kind of like it's a sexuality label. Otherwise you're not going to find shit. I wonder if there's something inherently quote unquote sexually deviant about stripper stuff or pole dancing. Also, there's something to be said about how I've never been to an actual strip club. I've been to a drag show. But I wonder if there's also something inherently sexually about strip clubs and strippers, because these women or these men or whoever, they're on a stage, they're on a pole, and you can see it all pretty much. But at the same time, you can't touch them, you can't fuck them. There's like a gap. Even though they're bringing out the most base urges in people and encouraging immediate action, And it's like you can't touch it, you can't have it, or you're gonna get kicked out. So what do? It's like your sexuality kind of goes a bit crazy. It can't immediately be fulfilled, so it's being tempted and manipulated and played with. And then people pay for this. Like, this is a form of entertainment. It makes me think also, is it any less valid? Is the sexual experience any less valid because you can't immediately have them, or really you'll never have most of them? Because a lot of strippers aren't even prostitutes. And then this is a fetish for people. This is like a lifestyle for people. And the idea that all deviant sexuality has to be done underground or in a club or at night. Like, I think one of the only strip clubs I've ever driven past was when I was driving through East St. Louis and I drove past the Dog Pound. It's literally, it feels like it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. It makes me think also that the way that I don't even know why I say our. It's not mine. I'm not part of it. I didn't design the fucking city. It's like the way that societies are designed are a way to politicalize sexuality by default. Like, the straight nuclear families move to the suburbs. The city is for all kinds of different things, depending on the culture of a place. And then the most taboo shit is like in strip clubs out in the middle of fucking nowhere, underground, or in rural areas. The most freaky, but also the most perverted and fucked up violent sexual shit that I've ever come across was in the countryside. The most fucked up, I say fucked up in the terms of being sexually violent and raping and killing and brutalizing people and just using sexuality for something that at its base is not what it's designed for. Like, sexuality, aka life force, the ability to create life, to nurture life. I think anything that's considered truly sexually fucked up and corrupt is something that is destroying life, like killing people. The most fucked up sexuality I've ever come across was from the countryside. Oh wow, the countryside's very religious. So it seems like the more religious the place is, the more sexually fucked up it is behind the scenes. Also, if it's in a rural area where they're kind of hidden from the main world, aka like city centers and places where political offices and cops and all kinds of shit are heavily centralized. Also, this phenomena of when someone is going to rape and kill someone, they do it in isolated places like a forest, somewhere where no one could hear you scream. I wonder when all of this started. I wonder if we ever had societies where sexuality just flowed and there was no politics of sexuality, because sexuality came before any form of politics. I think there was a Native American tribes where hermaphrodites were venerated and polyamory was natural, and even matriarchal societies were really all over. I don't know how much of this I'm going to put on YouTube, because it kind of just occurred to me a few minutes ago that I could I could put this on my channel. I have a lot of footage from when I was driving around in Oregon that I want to put in the background of these monologues. It's interesting too. When I'm traveling, I don't even think about talking on my phone. That stuff doesn't even cross my mind. Instead, I was just recording and I was thinking to myself, like, I have no idea what the fuck I could possibly be doing monologues about when I get back home. Because right now, there's not a thought in my head except for looking at all this stuff around me. Also, I have a theory because I work with old people. I have a theory that repressed sexuality is what manifests a lot of diseases and chronic illnesses and just weird lifestyles that old people have. Like, I meet a lot of old people who are very stuck in their ways and rigid, even down to when they eat their dinner. They have all these weird habits and they don't make any fucking sense. And they're kind of nonsensical to me. And they have all this, to me, it's weird. Their religious obsession. The most dogmatic and forcefully religious people I ever met are old people. I think a lot of it stems from repressed sexuality. And when you're young, technically you could die at any moment. Accidents could happen, but from a biological perspective, you're not supposed to die. You're not even likely to die, even if you're living in a really fucked up way that could later kill you. I think a lot of sexually rooted illnesses, even psychosomatic illnesses, that then develop into physical issues, are rooted in a tangled up, stunted, just kind of distorted sexuality. Since sexuality is literally the base of like everything. It's life force. It's why you even came to exist. I kind of wonder though also, people who are, because when I look at these old people that I work with, I think about the times that they grew up in. Very different. Very different. There's always been political corruption, but I think at their times, politically, much more the way it was. And I think about women didn't really even have rights. I mean, we still kind of don't. Gays definitely didn't have any rights. Slavery wasn't that too long ago either. These people were born when slavery was still happening. I kind of wonder if this generation and the following generations become more sexually hands-off, and I would even say more natural with things, and it's not politicized as heavily or all this shit. I kind of wonder how we'll age. I wonder if we'll age better. I wonder if we'll have a more natural relationship with death either. But I think like life force and death are two sides of the same coin. I think there's even like a word in French, like, I don't know if it's the word orgasm in French means mini death or something like that. Like, sexuality involves the transformation cycle, the birth, death, even the birth and death of consciousness, of just energy, transmutation, transformation. Yeah, I wonder if people who aren't very heavy-handed with basically abusing their sexuality into political perfection. I wonder if people who are a bit more free-flowing with things, or even just inquisitive about them and experimental, I wonder if they'll have an easier time aging and getting older, and having an easier transition into old age and then death. Women especially, because women technically reach menopause and then we are no longer fertile. Men are always going to be fertile from as soon as they reach puberty until they die. I wonder if women will have an easier time, because according to blunted political standards, and the usefulness and the purpose of sexuality, women become sexually useless when we reach menopause. And then so a woman who has based her entire sexual lifespan on how physically fertile and able to carry a child she is, I'm sure that menopause brings a midlife crisis for a lot of women. But I think it's kind of different. I think it's kind of different from men, because like when I hear about men having a midlife crisis, it's always them getting a convertible and then having a bunch of bitches and trying to date younger, or blow them all their money, or drinking themselves to death, whatever the fuck it is. Women, I think women have, I'm not going to say a harder time, but a different experience, because women are encouraged to just go hide away and be useless old hags, useless old maids, because they can't have a child anymore. So the outside world doesn't see their purpose anymore. Like, they're encouraged to either help raise grandkids or whatever, or fucking kill yourself. I'm not saying I endorse it, but that's kind of what I've seen. But also I know a lot of older women who become like cougars, and they have a career change, and or women become very masculine, because I know a lot of masculine older women, but it's masculine in the sense of they're trying to fit into the male world. I know a lot of older women, when they reach menopause, even if their body doesn't have the energy for it, they want to now focus all on their career, because they still want to be useful to this male capitalistic world. And you can't tell me that we don't live in a male-centered, you can't tell me that capitalism is not male-centered and created for men by default, when everyone on the fucking dollar's bills is a man. The people who created capitalism, all men. Have you ever heard of a woman starting a war? No, it's all men. I do have a lot of worries and fears about when I hit 30, am I suddenly gonna become fucking hideous and ugly and past my prime? Was my prime ever truly related to my physical fertility window and my level of developmental immaturity? Like, women are seen to be in our prime when we're still so young that our brains aren't even fully developed. Yet we are past the point of puberty where we can technically have a child. Is my prime, am I even in my prime yet? my true prime, or am I just past my prime when it comes to politics, the political usefulness of women, aka breeding? You can't even tell me that childbirth is not deeply political, because why the fuck? Women know how to give birth. Also, if anyone's listening to this, because I don't even know if anyone actually listens to my monologues. If you're so interested in childbirth and the politicalness of childbirth, there's this documentary called The Business of Being Born. I think her name's Ricki Lake. She narrates it. They made us watch that in high school. It's so good. It's so fucking good. I think it's in my... Really, you can just look it up. I don't know if it's free on YouTube or not, but you can probably find it on another website. It's about how women know how to give birth. We're literally... The female body is designed to. We know what the fuck to do. And the natural knowingness of your body is so ancient. Even if in your conscious mind you don't know how, your body knows how, and it will overpower you and you'll know how to do it. There's a capitalistic agenda when it comes to the business of childbirth, aka giving birth in a hospital or having all this medical intervention or all this education and childbirth, whatever the fucking medical term is. Women know how to give birth. Midwives who are technically seen as primitive and uneducated. Come on, you fucking... Drive, you dumbass bitch. Women know how to give birth, but they make so much fucking money over convincing women that we don't know our own bodies, or we can't trust our body, or that we can't trust our instincts when it comes to our baby. That we need to go see, first of all, a male doctor. And either insurance covers it or you have to pay out your ass all this fucking money. And they make so much money. And then they encourage C-sections because it makes more money for the hospitals, even though a lot of women don't even need C-sections. And giving birth in basically the missionary position on a hospital bed is the worst anatomical position that you could possibly be in to give birth, because that's where the pelvis is the most shrunken. We're meant to give birth in a squatting position or in a water bath. We're not supposed to give birth. I think that they pushed this idea that you need to go to a hospital and give birth in the missionary position while a male doctor is yelling in your ear, trying to tell you how to fucking breathe and time your contractions as if he has a fucking uterus. And then they say your baby's not coming fast enough, so we need to give you a C-section and dig into your core and then traumatize you for life. Because even if you're knocked out, that's physiological trauma in your body now. Having your core ripped open. Oy. Because they make so much money from it. And it pushes the idea and the agenda that women don't know our own bodies. And you know how, and you know more about us. And that's why I'm going to let you rip my core open and take my intestines out to take my baby. And then I'm not even the first one to touch my baby. And then when the babies come out through C-section and they're not born through vaginal birth, they don't pass through the vagina, which has all the necessary immune system fortifying bacteria in it that will strengthen the baby's immune system and basically set it up for success when it comes to their immune system throughout life. And now I'm kind of wondering if the birth industry is why autoimmune diseases are so rampant. Granted, if there's any fucking experts who do watch my shit, I'm not a doctor. This is all an opinion. This is not medical fact. So you can fuck off. I think it's because I had to write an essay about this before and they had to make me fact check everything instead of it just coming intuitively. Anyway, I'm almost at work. I don't know how I trailed off into this topic, but I'm sure it's all related. Also, I have this theory that in the women-hating tribal communities where they cut women's clitorises off at birth so we can never feel any sexual pleasure, what they need to do, they also, if you're going to do that, you have to take male babies and go in there and cut out their prostate so they can't feel any sexual pleasure. Since they're so worried about women having sexual pleasure that would make us gay, they have to do that to men too. And that's how I feel. Anyway. I'm parking here. If they give me a ticket, I'm just going to throw it in the grass.